I were to rank the jobs, I mean I think LSU has the most potential. They've won at the highest level most recently, and Louisiana is a pretty great place to recruit players. You know, with less competition, Florida might be better in total number of dudes that can play, but you're got Florida, you got Florida State, you got Miami, and you got the whole fucking country coming in here for people, and so it's it's more competitive in some ways. I think LSU has done a better job of
Maintaining their
locking
own.
in Louisiana talent,
Yeah.
and to their credit, and they have some great tradition. They've again because they've won recently. I think the infrastructure's up to par, and I do think that's probably the best of the three jobs.
The old ball coach Nick Saban, and he questions if LSU and Florida are better jobs for Lane Kiffin than Ole Miss, and that's sort of the thing now. Now, the Florida Gators, they've made it no whispers, no secrecy that Lane Kiffin is the most ideal candidate, and and I honestly, I think LSU might be the best job on the market right now. Just when you take everything into an account,
Yeah.
I do think they're a slightly better job than Florida right now. And then you have the other land. What do you take into account what Nick Saban said? What do you think about that? And
I don't disagree. I mean, if I were to rank the jobs, I mean I think LSU has the most potential. They've won at the highest level most recently, and Louisiana is a pretty great place to recruit players. With less competition, Florida might be better in total number of dudes that can play, but you're got Florida, you got Florida State, you got Miami, and you got the whole fucking country coming in here for people, and so it's more competitive in some ways. I think LSU has done a better job of
maintaining their
locking
own.
in Louisiana talent,
Yeah.
and to their credit, and they have some great tradition. They've again because they've won recently. I think the infrastructure's up to par, and I do think that's probably the best of the three jobs.
That's what I'm thinking.
Kiffin, though, I mean he's in on track to be in the playoffs with Ole Miss. He's got a one-loss team. He's got a chance to make a deep run, maybe win the thing. It's not off the board. So if the thing is I've got to go somewhere where I can win a title, you might do it where you are this year. I don't know that you'd be so enthusiastic to jump ship. Now, the other thing that all these guys do that you got to be mindful of, they love this interest. Because no matter what happens, if Lane Kiffin goes to Florida, he goes to LSU, or he stays at Ole Miss, he's getting more money and more resources.
You better believe
That's the reality. So, I mean, he can leverage this to Ole Miss to where he's already kind of got a culture going and got some positive things, and make them pay him more, make them invest more in, whatever, if NIL, staff, whatever he needs to ward off these other suitors. Or he, negotiates what he wants at either one of those places. But he's also done, Lane is like matured. He's not the same dude that was at like Tennessee and USC. Like he's matured. He's he still has his sense of humor and his little sense of wacky, but he knows football. And he's done a really good job, particularly at the quarterback position, which is the most important thing in college football. And wherever he goes, I think he's going to be fine. But I don't know that there's the only caveat that you could say might not make him the best thing is the success at Ole Miss, in the sense that he's not going to leave Ole Miss early December going to the playoffs. And if he gets in the playoffs and maybe wins a round or two,
you're talking about
he's not. We're into January, maybe late January before he's free, and transfer portal for early signing days, early December. Transfer portal will be open, especially if you make the later rounds. Most semesters at schools will have been started, and he won't necessarily be signed to anybody. And that makes it a little tough. I mean, best case scenario for Lane Kiffin lovers that want him at a different school, he drops a game or two and maybe just misses the playoffs like they did last year, and now he's available. He could leave before some horseshit bowl game and be, at his new job early December. But if he tracks to the playoffs, and particularly if he makes a little run there,
that's bad news.
It kind of freezes for, whether it's LSU, Florida, whoever.
Yeah.
Now you have the contrast with that, and I'm not saying these are necessarily better options, but Franklin, Brian Kelly, John Gruden, if you're a John Gruden guy, they're immediately available.
Yeah.
They could be there and ready to hit the ground running before signing day, sort out portal business and all that by the time Gruden and Ole Miss have played their last game of the year.
What is your take, too, on these, interim coaches? Because we've seen some interim coaches have success, and I wonder, I always wonder, how and how they have success in the first place, because you've been on the staff this whole entire time.
Yeah.
And all of that. And it's okay, so, are you, because Florida is in LSU and all these guys, they're on their active coaching search. They have these ideal guys that they want. And here you are in place. You have to finish out this season. Yeah. And it's well, what if I do well?
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting things. And a lot of times when they pick an interim coach, got to pay attention to who they're picking. When we had to go the interim route at Florida State, the interim head coach was always Odell Higgins. And he was a guy that played at Florida State, was on staff for 20-plus years, and was defensive line coach. And the general understanding was that he didn't necessarily aspire to be a head coach.
He was literally a placeholder, and he knew that everyone knew that.
Everybody knew that. He was deeply respected, usually by the players and kind of everybody in the university. And so whenever he had to step in and take over, generally there was at least a little uptick in performance. And he did very well, but it was never serious like we're going to hire him. And, I think with Florida, you guys appointed a wide receiver coach, right?
Billy Gonzalez. Billy Gonzalez.
That's tactical. He's not a coordinator. He's not like a big name. And so when you get to the end of this, even if he does pretty well, you're still Billy the wide receiver coach or Lane Kiffin, James Franklin, this other guy. You make that decision tactically. Now, if you go let's say Florida State cut ties with Norvell in the next couple of weeks, probably they'll put Malzahn in there, who's got extensive trouble, though, right? That's my point. That alone is a funky decision, because Malzahn's been a head coach a lot. He's had success. He's played for a title, and if he comes in and if they fire him, they reel off couple wins here down the stretch, get to a bowl. Oh, yeah, let's roll with Gus. Gus drives the bus. And what decision has Florida State made so far? We're going to wait to the end of the year to evaluate this.
Yeah.
It's almost like they're cutting that option off.
Yeah.
They're not letting the fan base and everybody get sucked in by a Gus run and then feel like, hey, we got to bring him.
Do you agree with that? Do you like that?
I'm saying keeps options all open. Now, if you had a guy that you genuinely believed in that was on your staff, particularly maybe a younger guy, I would be more, hey, let's give this guy a test run.
But that's from the interim standpoint. But I remember before the season, I forgot the total, but you were like, if Florida State is such and such and such and such by a week, so and so, you're ready to get rid of.
I think it was 2-6. I think I was talking about maybe a little off.
You know what I mean?
But yeah, I would say if you're losing record, and hey, we're 3-4.
Yeah.
We're not far.
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, I think they should have fired him after Stanford. But what I've heard is they don't have the money to do it. So that seems to be the biggest impediment. But I do think another part that played in was we don't want to give this to Gus, and he goes 5-0, and now.
No, that's a good point though, because I wasn't even thinking about that. But I know Gus is on the staff, because that would be a decision, man.
Yeah,
that would be a decision.
And wait, hold on, who's saying? Arwak Rock, Deion Sanders to Florida State. No fucking thank you. You might as well shoot down the team plane.
Oh, man. No, thank you. Well, you guys will get the headlines for a few months.
We don't need headlines, man. We need wins. And he hasn't done enough of that.
Oh, man, that's a good one.
Yeah.
No, that's good. Let's switch to another sport.
Well, I was
go
gonna
ahead.
say so. I know we talked a couple weeks ago. Top 5 candidates. Like who are your candidates for the Gators now?
Well, myself, it really doesn't matter. But I'm hearing Lane and I'm hearing Franklin. There's not a ton of names that I'm hearing though. I mean,
Yeah.
I believe they're like all in on Lane, and that's tricky because of what you just outlined before,
Yeah.
the playoffs and everything.
Yeah.
And it's just really going to depend. But you know, we live in this bubble, Florida Gator fans and supporters. I do believe that we believe that this job is better than what it might actually be.
A couple guys at the office were talking about that today.
And that's why I wanted to come with a little objectivity and say, you know, I can see LSU for what it is, and if I'm a coach with some type of pedigree and I'm on the playing field, I can see LSU being a better job, and they also have more money to offer to a coach than we can probably pucker up
together for sure.
The only thing that saves us with Lane, if you want to use the word saves or whatever, is he has been in the search before. We low key picked Billy over Lane before. I mean, there was other factors involved.
Yeah.
But Lane is he does have a relationship with our AD and stuff like that. So.
And I didn't notice at the time, but we apparently flirted with Lane when Norvell was talking to Alabama. And so there's some people I've seen on FSU Twitter that think that if we cut Norvell, we would be in a Lane.
Lane is going to have his
he's going to have
pick of the litter, man.
Yes,
like he's it's going to be his.
He's like
decision.
walking into the bunny ranch.
He's going to break hearts after the season. I mean, he just is.
Hearts and wallets.
He's going to break hearts and wallets, man. Yeah. And I do think he's number one on the. Out of all the potential available targets, I think he's at the top of the board.
If you can't pry Signetti out of Indiana.
Yeah. I don't think he's. I mean, I've been shocked before.
Well, they extended him within 72 hours of Franklin being fired. Literally, Franklin's fired, and then within 72 hours, they were Signetti signs extension with Indiana.
Yeah.
So I mean, there could be some outs in there. I don't know. If you're
how big of a Franklin guy are you?
Moderate.
I can't get past moderate. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's because of this.
He has so many qualities that I think I would like, but
he's kind of a robotic guy. He's like, I get up every morning at this, and I do almost like a military man. I don't know if
I think he could build a culture with that.
He could build a culture. He has put some freaks in the NFL.
Yeah.
Who've come through his program.
He can recruit.
He can recruit and he can develop.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, not every guy was a 5-star that ended up developing there at Penn State under his watch. But there's the thing with the big games. And you don't want to spend a bunch of money for a dude that can't win big games.
Oh, in the SEC, you're going to have a big game every other week, especially Florida. We've had the fucking toughest schedule the last 3 years.
Yeah.
And when you add Miami and Florida State on top of that, you know what I mean?
And the record is so bad against those higher ranked teams.
Yeah.
It's just that you're really like, what's going on here?
And you have adequate teams. You have it's not like,
Yeah, you've been favored in some of these games. It's and again, it's what's going on there? Is it a mental block that he just gets a little too tight
he's going to have to in these interviews, 1000% that's going to come up.
Oh yeah, you're gonna have to have a good answer, but at some point you're just gonna have to perform it too. I mean, he's gonna get a good job.
Yeah.
It depends exactly where, but he's got a chance to redeem himself. But I guess my reservations over that is why I don't feel like let's get him now. That's really the thing. But there's a lot of positives there. I think his only really bad season at Penn State was the COVID season, which was funky for a lot of teams.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think he'll be a good hire. It just doesn't feel like a slam dunk hire. And I don't know. I mean, I would take a run at Signetti. There's something special about the guy.
Yeah, you're saying just send him over the checkbook and
send him over the checkbook,
mail it back.
Maybe kidnap him in a windowless van. Take him into an undisclosed location for a couple days. Let's figure this out.
Man.
Whatever it takes.